Hey, good morning, guys. Oh man, tell you that sun feels good this morning because when I got up, the cottage was really chilly and stuff. But anyways, it is a busy day today. This last night I started on a new bag, and here's the beginning of it right now. Bop, and opens this way. And I love making bags this way. I really do, because you're starting at the bottom and working in the top of it, in the hump. So you start off working in the hump. That way you can do the whole bag in the round. And as long as you keep that stitch marker there, you at least know where you're going to be doing your stuff at, and it keeps it nice and consistent. Something I found really odd in this one, which I'll get to in a minute. I want to show you what the bag is first. This is another bag from the Anna Paula Romoli's Amigurumi on the Go, and it's the Owl Book Bag. Now, I've seen some of these over at Etsy, and I'm making one too. And yes, I've just been following along with her collars, but I think at some point I'm going to make one that's in browns, because a dark brown and then a light brown, because I think that would look really sharp with it. Something that threw me off, though, on this, and I don't really understand it, is on the back, on this one row, she had you doing it in dark blue and then suddenly changing off to a light blue. And I don't know if that's a typo in the pattern or what it was, but it honestly looks a bit weird on the back. But I left it in there because that's what the pattern said. Because I think it would have worked so much better just to start the light blue, like you normally would, up on the on that next row, the beginning of the next row. And here it changed in the middle, so I don't quite know what that's for. But anyway, and another thing, something I'm thinking of doing this with this one, which would be a first, because I haven't done this with any of the bags I've made, and that's put a lining in it. And this wonderful book called Teach Yourself Visually Knitting on page 220 shows you how to do it. So it should be pretty easy. And it'll give me some more practice on my sewing machine anyways, which would be good. And I think lining the bags might also increase sales, especially if I put some extra pockets inside the bag that way. And I think with this being a book bag, and look for little kids. Well, you wouldn't even have to have little kids, but for kids, you want to have it. You don't know what they're going to throw in there. They could put a 64 count box crayons in, and that's going to really sink it. But if I put a liner in there, that's going to make a huge difference for it. And the nice thing about this book is it shows you how to flat rectangular bag lining, how to do it, and then also how to make a gusseted rectangular bag lining, as you can see right there. So, two different ways of doing it. So that's going to be pretty neat, getting to finally, put this one into action and stuff and see how it goes. I highly doubt that, Lily. But thank you for mentioning it. Yeah. And so the other thing I've got going, and which I'm breaking off for today, is I got an order for my dishcloths. And right now, as of this date, April 28th, 2017, if you use Spring Clean 10, you can get 10% off of these. No minimum order or anything. But although I'm probably going to change the collars today because I'm going to be out of this yarn. That's what worries me. Thankfully, I already had one of these made. I just have to change the edging on it, rip this out, and put the other edging in that I normally do. And that one will be done. And then, hey, project bag. This size project bag is excellent for tiny projects. Tiny project. But anyway, this is all the yarn I've got left of the Country Red. And then I found out I have probably about this much or less of the periwinkle, so I'm going to have to change the colors that I'm offering these in, because that's just not going to work. And the thing about this is, this yarn, I get it from Craftsy, and I can't remember if it's $6 or $7 and something a skein, but you get a 1 pound skein of it. And I haven't seen them yet sell the Country Red in the Bernat for smaller than a 1 pound, which, you know, 1 pound lasts forever. My goodness, I've made all kinds of things out of it. But, you know, so probably next month I'll do a restock on some of these if I can. And I love the periwinkle because the periwinkle, it's a mixture of cotton and polyester. So it tends to dry a bit faster than the regular 100% cotton. But anyways, that's the other thing I'm doing. And I'm using, when I make these, in order to open it up a little bit more without doing lace work, I use 10.5 clovers, bamboos. And that makes it, you know, opens it up more so it'll dry faster. And I don't, so far, no one I know who's tried some of these patterns that you see out where the washcloth is knit in like almost a tight type of knitting. They don't dry. They really don't. Even my double-sided scrubbies, where one side is cotton and the other side is what is it? Polyester. It's the polyester scrubby yarn. They don't dry very well. It takes them a long time to dry. But since I'm always using them, it doesn't really matter. But, you know, it's nice to, when you have dishcloths, you would like them to eventually dry when you throw them in the dryer, you know. Hi, I don't want to have to run them through again. So, bingo. So these being open mesh more, and then when they're wet, they really open up. So that does wonders with it. So anyway, that's what I'm up to today. And I really did, if you're still pretty new at knitting and like you're an intermediate even, this book, Teach Yourself Visually Knitting, is really fantastic because it takes you through everything from headbands to making pullovers with cables, big cables, toe-up socks, all kinds of things. And then you get back and it gives you the master patterns for each of these things, and that allows you to tweak stuff left and right. And golly, just everything. And then it has yarn charts in here, how much yarn it usually takes. Like I'll give you an example. Like with the yarn weights, it lists all the yarn weights, and then like for a baby or a child finished chest. Say if the baby has a 24-inch chest, if you use bulky weight yarn, then it's probably going to take you about 200 yards. If you use worsted weight, 250, sport weight, 300, and fingering, it'll be 450 yards. And all of that is so helpful for when you're designing, so you know how much yarn to get. And then it gets into altering sleeves. I mean, this is just amazing. And then it even goes into how to do blocking and stuff, seam sewing. It's just everything. It's like having a tutor with you. It really is. Between this one and let me show you the other one, it's companion, so to speak, that I've got. And I know I've shown this before, but some of you may not have seen the old ones. Teach Yourself Visually Knitting Design is just phenomenal. And you combine the two books, and if you work through them and you follow instructions and you really practice with them, believe me, you are going to learn tons and tons and tons. So anyways, those are two book suggestions up for you. And again, you know, if you want to get into amigurumi and make some of these really cool bags that I'm making, you know, the mushroom bag and the owl and the latest one that I made, which is this one, the octopus. Seriously, pick up Anna Paula Romoli's Amigurumi on the Go. And I'll put the titles down below, and you can find them. I won't have the links on there today because I don't have time to put all that together. But, you know, go on Amazon and look them up. You can get them. You can get Romoli's, obviously, on Kindle. And I think you can also get it in hard copy. And Of course, now the Teach Yourself doesn't come on Kindle, but believe me, you wouldn't want them to anyway. It's much nicer having those in the hard copy form. So that's it for today, and hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Good Shabbos to the tribe, and we'll catch you later, guys. Bye-bye.